Hello and welcome to another tutorial here on the channel. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we are going to go over a basic beginner's guide to mining in Stardew Valley. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the Harvest Moon series, the mining concept is pretty straightforward. You're going and you are trying to collect resources that you can use for various reasons, but the most basic one is to use those assets to upgrade your tools so that you can be more efficient and effective in terms of saving time and energy with other chores around the game. Now, when you start a new playthrough, the mines aren't going to be immediately accessible to you. Days 1 through 4, you can't even get to them. But on day 5, you're going to get a letter in the mail from Joja Corp saying that they had an accident. And basically, what that means is now you have access to the mines. When you enter the mines the first time, there will be a cutscene where a guy named Marlin is going to give you a sword. This sword is darn near worthless. But what you're going to want to try and do in the mines is essentially collect as many resources as you can to then craft other items or upgrade your tools so that you can be more efficient with your time and energy going forward. There's going to be things like copper, iron, gold, and eventually iridium that you are going to want to try and collect along with some coal while you're down there. And those are the items that you're going to use in order to eventually upgrade the tools that you have in your inventory. Now, there are a couple of things to keep in mind when you first head into those mines. First of all, the sword that you have is not very effective, so it's probably a good idea to go ahead and just try and avoid monsters in the early going. Focus on hitting stones and ore and trying to just find a ladder so that you can get deeper into the mines. In these main mines there in the Mountain Lake area, every 5 levels your progress will save to where you can then take an elevator to the top floor or to any floor starting with multiple 5 that you have previously reached. So that is very important to remember, is that if you're on level 9 and you're about out of energy or looking at the clock and it's kind of late in the day, it's probably a good idea to try and press forward and get to level 10 so that your progress saves, and that's where you can go to the next time you come to the mines. Now let's talk about that weapon again. That sword that you get from Marlin is junk. You're going to have the possibility of finding weapons, whether it's through hitting barrels and other items down in the mines themselves, or sometimes while fishing. But you can also purchase a weapon from what's called the Adventurers Guild. Now, you won't have access to the Adventurers Guild early on, but you will get a letter from Marlin saying if you can kill 10 slimes, you've proven yourself worthy of membership at the Adventurers Guild. And so once you kill those first 10 slimes, then you can access the Adventurers Guild where they sell different weapons and other kind of equipment that you can use while down in the mine. Now, the main assets that you're actually searching for in those mines there in the Mountain Lake area are going to be copper, iron, gold, and coal. The mines are actually broken up into 3 sections. There's a top section where you're going to mostly find copper. The level that's going to be levels 0 through 40. Levels 41 through 80 are the frozen section where you're going to find iron. And then the last section is levels 81 through 120, and that's where you will find mostly gold. And so any of those levels you might be able to find coal. It seems to be the most prevalent in the middle section where you'll find iron because there are monsters that actually drop coal when you kill them. So that's something to keep in mind if you're on the hunt for coal. You can also find other very valuable resources in the mines. There are different gems and minerals that you might come across. You might find geodes that can actually be broken open and give you other kind of resources. And you might even get some pretty valuable things just by killing monsters. They will occasionally drop prizes, we'll call them, or loot, and that loot can be quite valuable. So it is a good idea while you're there to keep an eye on your inventory and make sure you always have at least one slot open. And the reason is you do not want to have a scenario where you kill a monster and it drops something extremely valuable, but you didn't see it and you don't pick it up because you didn't have a spot open in your inventory. If you have a spot open, your guy will pick it up as long as it's within reach. And that is a massive, massive mistake that a lot of rookie players make, is that they go down there, they've got full inventory, and they're just killing monsters and smashing rocks. They might miss something like an ancient seed, which is extremely valuable, and they only missed it because they just didn't see it and they didn't have that spot open in their inventory. So do not forget that. There are a few other things to remember when you're planning a trip to the mines. One, take some food with you, because once you get down there, it's going to be pretty hard to find some sources of energy, and you're going to probably end up at some point needing to eat something to refill your energy, or possibly refill your health if you're getting trouble from the monsters that are down there. Another thing to keep in mind is what kind of luck you can expect to have for that day. So when you wake up in the morning, check that television, and the fortune teller is going to give you some sort of indication as to how lucky you can expect to be for that day, and that will affect your trip to the mines in a couple of ways. One, on a good luck day, there is a higher likelihood that you will see ladders already exposed, or that ladders will become exposed when you kill a monster or break a rock, for example. So you can get deeper into the mines more quickly on good luck days, in other words. The other thing that it impacts is not only how many monsters there are, but how often they will drop loot. So on a good luck day, there will be less monsters, but the ones that you do see are more likely to drop loot. So that is a good thing to keep in mind if you're planning on a trip to the mines. If you're going to do it on a good luck day, you're more likely to get deep and possibly find some good loot by attacking the monsters that you do come across. The last thing that I want to cover is some other areas on the map where you can actually go mining. So the primary mines are just north of the mountain lake. Now, to the east of that on the map, there is a rock quarry, and near the rock quarry, there is an entrance to another mine. People just refer to it as the quarry mine. It's only one level. There are some monsters in there that are a little bit of a nuisance, but if you get to the end of that one level, there is a prize there. It's a golden scythe. Not going to go into a ton of details, but you will eventually have access to that rock quarry, and that's basically the only thing that you're going to those mines to try and collect. Most people only go in there one time. They get that golden scythe, and that's the last time they ever go there, but it is something to keep in mind. There's also a skull cavern in the desert area. You won't have access to the desert early on, but once you do, that skull cavern is where you're generally going to have the best access to iridium. And iridium is going to be something that is crucial to some of those late game upgrades and resources that you want to try and get your hands on. So you will probably end up spending a lot of time in the skull caverns. I've got several tutorials on just strategy for the skull caverns, and a big thing to keep in mind early in the game is if you get your hands on jade, you want to keep as much jade as you possibly can. Check out my tutorial on the skull cavern deep dive strategy, and you will understand why. Now, I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of other things that you could possibly want to know about the mines and mining in general. A lot of information is on the Stardew Valley wiki, so if there's something that I haven't covered and you're kind of curious, just check it out on there or look for some other videos that might cover in more depth. But I hope that this just kind of high-level overview of the mining concept is useful for you. And if you have any questions, concerns, put some comments in the comment section below, and I'll try and get to those as soon as I can. Again, I've been your host, longtime listener, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see y'all next time.